Alright guys, so it's time for me to get new tires for the Widebody Scat Pack finally. This will be my second set of tires for this car. But this time I'm doing something different. I'm finally going to the popular 315s that everyone else goes to when it comes to the wide bodies. But my car is lowered. Will I have a problem or will I not? This is a big question that people keep asking. Is it okay? Will it work out? We're gonna answer that here today. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, before I kick off the video, I gotta hit y'all with a cold start here, and I'm gonna get in the garage here and see this sound back here. It's gonna echo all over the place. See my 315 tire right here that I'm gonna get put on here just a bit in this video. But let's hit the cold start first. And I don't have gas, so I might cut off. Shut off because I ain't got any gas because I'm cheap like that. I don't have gas in it or whatnot. Gas too high to fill it up, so it is what it is. I'm joking. I'm gonna put gas in it later. You see the title and you see the thumbnail, right? So we're putting 315s on the car, and 315s is very popular to put on a wide body Scat Pack or wide body Hellcat or any wide body mopar, whatnot. Now everyone talks about when putting 315s on the car, how much better it is for the car, all the pros of you got a wider tire on the car, all that type of jazz and whatnot. But there's a couple things people don't talk about as much, and people still got questions about it. Number one, how will 315s work on a lowered car? My car is lowered and I'm going with a wider tire. This 315 over here, will it have an issue with going on a lowered car? Now my car's been lowered for 3 years, so my suspension has settled a good bit. So is it gonna rub with 315s on there, especially on a car that's been settling for a long time, right? And the other thing is, while the 315 is a wider tire, it also is a taller tire. So there's other things that you have to consider with doing 315s over 305s. I'm gonna talk about all of that in this video here today. So let's talk about the first thing here. Let's talk about my 305s right now. Do my 305s rub? And the answer is sometimes, and let me explain here. So most of the time, these tires don't rub at all. It doesn't rub at the front at all, but on the back, if I hit a certain dip or something like that, I get a little bit of rubbing. I think it rubs on this side a little bit more, on the passenger side. For some reason, it rubs on this passenger side a little bit more on the inside. And I think it hits the inside fender, whatnot, but I have to hit a very extreme like dip in the road going pretty quickly, and then it'll rub some. But that's the only time it rubs on 305. Generally, it doesn't rub at all, and it happens rarely, but that's the only time I've had it rub before. So once I put the 315s on this car, I'm interested to see how it rubs, which we'll find out on this video here towards the end when I get the 315s on. Does it rub or anything like that? But there's one thing I do want to talk about here that no one talks about when it comes to 315s. Anytime someone mentions 315s, they're talking about, oh, it's a wider tire, and all that type of stuff. But the tire is not only wider, it's a bigger tire overall. The tire is taller than my factory 305s. The tire has more sidewall than the 305s. There's a lot of things that change when you go from a 315 to a 305. It's not just getting a wider tire, you're getting a bigger tire overall. And I can put some things on the screen for you right now. So the first thing I'm gonna put on the screen for you guys is this. So this tire size comparison of a 305 35 versus a 315 35 20. Now, we all know 305 and 315 is the width of the tires, but that middle number, the 35, is like, it's called the aspect ratio and things like that. It's how big the sidewall is compared to the width of the tires. So that means if you go to a wider tire with the same sidewall aspect ratio, that means the wider tire is going to have thicker sidewall. So with the thicker sidewall, that means taller tire as well as bigger diameter tire all the way around and all that type of stuff, right? But how much bigger is the tire? So here's the graphic here. So you can see the diameter of the tire. If you look at the size 1 is 305, size 2 is 315. You see it on the screen here, right? So size 1, 28.4, size 2, 28.7. So 0.3 inches bigger. Width, of course, we know the width is going to be wider. That's what we're going for. Sidewall, that's one thing we want to call out. The sidewall, a little bit bigger. You see the difference there, 0.1 inch bigger. On the 315 circumference, you see the whole tire is bigger. There's something else that's going to throw something else off. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. And you can see right there, the revs per mile, that means revelations per mile. So that's going to impact the speedometer. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But you can see right there, overall bigger tire, wider tire, and all of that stuff. Now, even though I have the tires side by side right here, you can't really see a full comparison of the size difference. And to be honest, these tires just look huge off the car. Like, you don't realize how big any of these tires are until you have them off the car. These things are heavy, like they are, whatever. But here's the visual comparison. Like, you see Size 1 is going to be a 305, size 2 is going to be a 315. So you see right there how much of a difference it is. Not too big of a difference. They're relatively close, but you can see what we're working with there as far as size-wise. And then you see at the bottom, kind of a side profile view of the height difference and whatnot between the tires. Now the last thing I'm gonna call out is this. Because there is a size difference between the 315 and the 305/35, there's also going to be a difference in your speedometer. So this is how it's going to kind of throw off your speedometer a little bit. So you can see right here, I'll put them up on the screen right here. So you can see the faster you go, the more it throws it off in short. But you can see from 20 miles an hour, anything on the left side is the 305, anything on the right is the 315. So you can see if you're going 20 miles an hour, 315 is going to show 20.2, and so on and so forth. As the faster you go, when you hit 90 miles an hour, is when it's going to be 1 mile an hour off. So it's not going to be too far off, but it's going to be off just enough to throw off your speedometer because, like I said, the side difference and things like that. Now, another thing to consider as well, my car's lowered. With me putting 315s on there, which is going to be a bigger tire, a taller tire, it's going to lift my car just a little bit. Not too much. It's going to make it a little bit higher off the ground. But now, enough of the talking. We're going to get the 315s put on. So in the next clip, you will see me having the 315s on my car. And I can let you know how well it fits. Do we have any fitment issues or anything like that? And also show you how it looks too. So if you're considering putting 315s on your car, for the 305s, all your answers right here. Will you rub and all that type of stuff. So next clip, we got 315s on.
This is my Dodge Charger Scat Pack wide body. It's big, it's loud, it's bright red. It simply grabs attention no matter where I go. Unfortunately, I bought a car that is 60 times more likely to be stolen than any other car on the road. With the long list of mods and things I bought for this car, one of the first things I installed on my car was this. CarLock, the world's best GPS tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you will be able to live track your car with the GPS from your phone. Also, get alerts sent directly to your phone if anything is going on with your car, such as vibrations, engine starting, the car moving when it shouldn't be moving, or if there's a loss of power, your CarLock will get an alert for that as well. Be sure to get your CarLock. Use my link down in the description below and these discount codes to get a 10% discount on your CarLock purchase, as well as a 14-day free trial of the CarLock service as well. Let's get into the video.
All right, now we're back and we got the 315s on the car now. Since we're on the second part of the video, let me go ahead and give y'all the next cold start here. This time I have gas in my car, so it's not going to cut off. So, go ahead. Go ahead, start the car for me.
What in this?
Got one. There you go. All right, guys, so now we got the 315s on the car. So funny thing happened, I actually had these on the car for maybe almost a week now. When I got them put on the car, I went to a shop. In the shop that I went to, apparently they can't work on lowered cars because they didn't have a low profile jack. So I went there and they couldn't get my car. I couldn't get a jack up under there. Even though I gave them like my wooden planks to get the car up, they still couldn't do it. And then the son just walked through there. But nonetheless, I'm not going to blast them or anything because I came back to them. I had to have something done on the SUV. I got nailed in the tire, and they took care of me for free. So everything's all good there. First question, with the 315s on the car, you see the nice deep tread and stuff like that. So how does this car ride with 315s on it? Pretty much, I ain't gonna lie, since this is a thicker sidewall, I've been riding around in track like I normally do, and I will say that with the 315s on there, it is pretty. It's pretty smooth. It does take the bumps better than before. You don't feel any of the potholes as much, any of the bumps as much and whatnot with the thicker sidewall. So that's a good positive with the 315s. Like, you do get more sidewall than the 305s. So expect a smoother ride. And I'm not saying it's a smoother ride because it's a new tire. It's a smoother ride because the sidewall is definitely a little bit thicker. You can kind of, if you're used to seeing 305s where you put the 315s on there, you can kind of see the difference in sidewall thickness. I can tell they're a little bit thicker, but that's definitely a positive with going 315s. So the next thing is, how do they look? I mean, they're tires, you know, they're 315s. I will say this though, you don't realize how big 315s are until you have them off the car. That is a lot of tire to put in the car. I mean, they are huge, and to think that you have that much tire stuffed in that wheel well, it's still insane. Like, these tires are crazy big. And since we're on the topic of looks, I mean, look from behind, I mean, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's just crazy how big these tires are. Like I said before, that's a lot of tire on the ground that you can kind of see there. with it. I know on camera probably doesn't look as big, but in person it's like, that's a pretty good tire, like for sure. Now, since we're on the topic of the sidewall being thicker, since the sidewall of the tire is thicker, does it lift the car up some? Actually, it does lift the car up some. I was actually going over a speed bump here, and on the speed bump, I usually rub like right here. There's like a little rubber jack thing that goes into there, and my car usually rubs at that point. But with the 315s on there, since it is a taller tire, it lifts the car up just a little bit, so it does have a little bit more ground clearance than it does before. Now, even though it lifts the car up some, it's not drastic enough where you can see a difference in it. But with the bigger sidewall and things like that, it does help kind of tuck the tire up in the wheel wells a little bit more and whatnot. It was already tucked up in there, like with my 305s, but with the bigger sidewall, it does tuck in there a little bit more. This side, you can't really tell as much because I'm on a hill and it's kind of slanted. My car's leaning the other way or whatnot. But on the other side, you can definitely see how kind of tucked it is. Now, the $1 million question is what I want to know from the get-go. Now, my car's lowered, and it's been lowered for at least about 3 years, I think. So that means my springs are settled a lot. I have the Eibach springs, so my car's pretty low. This side doesn't really show up because I have my wheels tilted, but over here, you can pretty much see kind of like how low my car is. So with a thicker sidewall, wider tire, does this rub? And surprisingly, no, there's no rubbing at all. I set my hand, like if you go up here and you put your finger right up here where the, where the fender thing is right here. It's about like half an inch or so of clearance. It's really close, but surprisingly nothing rubs at all. Now, I did say when I go over certain bumps, like this side tire usually rubs, but I haven't hit that bump yet, so I don't know if it's gonna rub there. When it did rub, it rubbed on the inside of the tire. Nothing major or anything like that. Now, one last thing I want to touch on is fitment. Will 315s help with the fitment? If you know with these cars, the tire doesn't really sit with the fender line here. So the tire kind of sinks in inside the fender line here. And a lot of people want to get this tire out to the fender line here. So these 315s, they're not going to help with that. So if you want your wheels and your tires to sit flush with the fenders, you're going to need different wheels or spacers. That's the only way. It doesn't change the fitment of the tires or anything like that. They're not going to poke out more, anything like that. So if you want that to happen, if you want it to poke out or sit with the fender flares or to the fenders, you got to get a new wheel and better offset, or spacers. That's the only way you're gonna do it. So that's the end of the video, guys. So that's my experience with putting the 315s on, as far as just with the fitment, which most people want to know, is it gonna rub? Can you do it with the lowered car? My answer to all that is yes, it'll be fine. Now, if you're lowered more than this, that I don't know. You'll have to find out on your own. But for me, for Eibach springs, with how low my car is, it is fine. And like I said, also gonna help the clearance. My car does sit up a little bit taller, just by maybe half an inch or so. So I don't scrape on as many speed bumps as I did before. Now, if there's anything in this video I haven't covered, make sure, drop a question below. I'll make sure to get back to you. Drop it in the comments so I get back to you and all that type of stuff. Made it this far in the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Once around for all the car stuff I got going on. Catch you next one. I'm out. Cut it.